everybody, Tracy Jo Callan here with Callan's Crafting Studio, and I thought I would do a quick video. Thanksgiving is about 6 days away, and I've been asked for quite some time by a friend and a fellow Cricketer to do a tutorial on ironing on materials. So I thought I'd whip something together that I could wear on Thanksgiving. So Anne, this video is for you. And I picked up a t-shirt this morning, used some existing iron-on materials that I had in my drawer, so I'm going to show you how I laid it out in Design Space, not from scratch, but just I'll show you the file that I used. I can certainly share the file if somebody's interested in this particular layout, and I'll show you how to put the materials down on your cutting mat, how to weed them, and then we'll go to the heat press and I'll show you how to use it. I use a heat press. I know most people don't have heat presses. I happen to have one. You can use an iron or the new Cricut, the Cricut press, I forget what it's called. But anyway, I thought this would be a quick one to throw up before the holidays, so let's get started. Okay, quickly, here's the design that I've laid out that I'm going to put on my t-shirt for Thanksgiving, and you can see there's two different fonts that I've used. The middle one is a font called Unicorn Regular. I think I got this off of dafont.com, so if you'd want that exact font, you'd have to bring it in yourself, or you could certainly use one of the many fonts that's already within Design Space. The Happy is Lucida, I guess maybe that's how that's pronounced, Lucida Calligraphy. You can see it up here. And I did have to ungroup these letters individually by clicking Advanced and then ungroup letters. It's already done because they were too far apart and I didn't like the way that they looked. So I've since set those where I want them, but now I'm going to go ahead and grab them all and I'm going to group them together. Actually, I'm going to attach them. So I'm going to attach these down here for giving. That one I hadn't detached yet, so that one I had already done the same thing with. And then the center one is grouped together. But what I want to do is I want all of them to cut on the same color of HTV, of the heat transfer vinyl. So I'm going to grab all three of them by holding my shift key down and clicking on them, and so it's grab the three, and I'm going to hit attach. And now that has attached all three pieces. As you can see, they're all grouped together now. You don't want to use group because that will just group them together to move them around on your canvas. You want to use attach because you want them to cut that way. So I did also use the V-neck t-shirt template by clicking on templates and finding the one for t-shirts. And because I'm going to use a dark espresso foil down here, I really just picked foils and iron-on colors that I had. I wish I had an orange. I don't. I'm just kind of whipping this up together for the purposes of this video. And so I did decide to use the back of this particular pumpkin because it's going to be in a black t-shirt. And you can change your canvas if you want to see what the color of the canvas looks like. Instead of having it a white background, you can click on canvas at the bottom and change it. So now you can see kind of what it's going to look like on black. So as you can see, this pumpkin or gourd has a background around it. So I'm going to do that in the gold. I'm going to do the center in the gold glitter. I'm going to do the leaf in the lemongrass foil, and then the espresso foil for the little pumpkin. So now I'm just going to go ahead and send this to my mat by clicking Make It. And one thing you have to make sure you remember to do is mirror all of your images. You will have to do them individually on each mat. Just click on it and click the little button and you'll see turn my words around backwards there. And that one and the bottom one. So all four of them. The leaf probably doesn't really matter so much, nor the pumpkin, but just for the purposes of making sure the entire design is just flipped backwards, I went ahead and flipped all four. So I'm going to go ahead and send it to the machine and continue to cut it. And you want to make sure you set your materials for each mat individually. So my first mat is my brown mat, which is going to be my espresso foil. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to change the setting. I have the Explore Air, the first one. I'm putting that on custom settings. And now I'm going to have to find the glitter iron-on. So I'm going to scroll down to the iron-on setting, excuse me, and I'm going to click on foil. That's going to be my first mat. Click on done, and then I'm going to load my mat up and send it to the machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the materials I'm going to be using today are just a plain black long sleeve t-shirt that I got from Kohl's for 10 bucks. And I'm going to use various different weeding tools that I just got in a weeding kit. I normally always use the same one. I always use one that looks like this. I like this sharp one to weed with. Some people like the one like this. I don't like this one so much, which just has a straight end on it. I don't know. I just find that I like this one better. However, today I might try and we'll see how it goes. We'll do it together on camera. This one, which has a nice sharp end on the end of it there. It's kind of hard to see. This came in the Cricut weeding tool kit that I got some time back, and I haven't really used it too much. So, and it came with some tweezers too. I don't know. We might test those and see what that's like to weed with. I'm not sure how that will work. So, in any event, we'll get it weeded with one of these. So, and I'm also going to be using my strong grip mat because I find this works best when I'm using my iron-on. So, this is just Cricut Gold iron-on. This one is called Espresso Foil. So this is a foil one, and it's kind of hard to see in here, but we'll see what that one looks like. This is some Cricut Glitter vinyl or HTV iron-on, and this one is called Lemongrass, and this is also a foil. I think I got these two in a mystery box. So it'll be good. We'll see how, I think these colors will go nicely together. Like I said, I wish I had an orange, but I don't. So we're going to make this work. And this way, these two are cool peel. The glitter is not, and I do not believe that the regular iron-on is cool peel either, but I'll show you guys how that all works on the heat press. So let's see. The first thing that I need to cut is the espresso. So I've already changed my settings as you saw in Design Space. So I'm just going to open up this package. And the one thing you just need to always remember with your iron-on is that you put it facing down, and you're cutting what kind of looks like the back of it. So let me just cut this open. Use my little X-Acto knife. Try not to go too deep. I don't want to. I guess scissors would probably work too. Let's see here. That one stinking little piece of tape. I always have trouble getting off on these. Okay. There we go. So, oh, there's another piece on there. Pull that one up. Okay. So, this one's pretty thin compared to the glitter, which is what I normally work with a lot. So you can see, look how pretty and shiny that's going to be. I think it's going to look really nice and pop on the black. But I'm going to have this underneath it, so you'll be able to see it against the black. So you'll see that, so this liner side, you want to have face up, and then this down, and then you have mirrored it. You probably don't have to use the strong grip for this. I just like to. It doesn't hurt it, and my strong grip isn't super strong because I've used it a lot, so it's not too hard to get off, but it's a little better than my green mat. So we're going to cut that one and put that one face down. Now the glitter looks like this on the inside, okay? So this is the liner is on the outside of it, and you're actually cutting on the actual glitter. So when you flip it over, you'll see what I mean after it's weeded. So I'm going to lay all of these on my mat. Again, you want to just make sure you lay them face down. And I'm going to get them cut for us, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I have all 4 pieces cut, and they're just tiny little pieces. One thing I'll mention too is when you're laying them out on your board, I take a look at the mat and I look at the measurements of it, and then I just cut a small piece, as small as possible, so not to waste my materials as much as I can. And then I even trim before I weed to see if there's any other little savable pieces. Like this was a savable piece on the end of the gold that I was able to save to use for something else. But you don't want to lay a whole 12 by 12 piece down if you don't need it. So you definitely want to cut it to size, and you can use your actual mat when you're in the final screen by looking at the measurements and kind of figuring out what size you need. So having said that, I also pulled out my light board. This is not a Cricut light board. This is one that I got on Amazon, I think the most recent price was $25, and the Cricut Bright Pad is like $80. So it works just the same. The size and measurements are the same. So just throwing that out there for people that don't mind having non-Cricut products. But this one saved me a lot of money. So and it's 3 different light settings, and it's just a touch settings like this, and it does help greatly with your weeding. So some of these are going to be super easy to weed because they're super simple. You can see now, you can see the outline of the little pumpkin on there. So let's try this new weeding tool. I want to see how this one works since I haven't used it yet with this little hook on the end. So all you're going to do is you're going to weed on the same side that you cut. So you just kind of go in. I always start by finding the corner, pulling it up. Again, this is the Cricut foil, and I think there's another little piece right in the center there. I kind of like this weeding tool because it's got that very sharp hook on the end of it, and it'll help you pick up those little pieces a little bit better. So that's the one pumpkin there. So kind of hard now, you can see against the lighting. Okay, and then this is the gold. This is just standard gold. So again, you just want to make sure you use the right settings on your machine before you cut. This one I was able to turn the dial and just use the plain old iron-on setting. The other two I use specific to foil iron-on and glitter iron-on in the custom settings. This is another pretty simple one. So there's my second pumpkin. They're going to fit on top of one another. Kind of like that when we lay it down, but you'll see it better when we put it on the shirt. Here's my little leaf. Again, you can see the outline very nicely on the Bright Pad. Flip it over, weed it from the back. So far, so good. I find this this foil iron-on pretty easy to work with. I know a lot of people do not like the regular glitter vinyl. They find it really difficult to work with. I think I did another video on some quick tips on how I weed that. I think the regular iron-on is pretty easy to work with. I find the glitter really easy. The lines are sometimes a little bit harder to see, but I can see them pretty clearly on here. At least once you start in the corner, that always helps once you start to get it up. But this stuff pulls off pretty easily. Now I did use a pretty thin script, not super wide text, so we'll see how that goes. Just pulling this off. So you don't want to go too fast. Just kind of get your base off. Letters are always the hardest to weed too, because you have to go and get all the little centers of the O's and the T's and the D's and all that good stuff. So it's kind of looks like a big mess right now, but I promise it's going to start to come out nice. Really just use your fingers at this point. You don't need the tool too much yet. Let me get up these little pieces here. Oh, there we go. I'm an impatient crafter too. I really need to learn to slow down, breathe, and take my time because I've wrecked a lot of stuff because I move too fast. In general, I'm an impatient person. Okay, now we're just going to go and get all the fine little pieces out. I think I do like this weeding tool a lot. Let's see. And you do always want to really make sure you get all your pieces. Sometimes if you have to, you can go back and look at the screen and Design Space to kind of see where stuff is. I use that as a guide. Just be careful you're not ripping anything you're not supposed to. Or you at least grab it. Generally, if you just grab it somewhere in the center of where it's going to come up, then you'll see it start to release. See my A here. I'm not sure where that A is. Oh, see, and now that helps me because I can see that it's there. Okay. Gives me an idea what it looks like. There we go. I got the top of it. I didn't want to grab too much because it was a small little hole and you weren't sure. See the P here. There we go. Another lowercase a. And part of the inside of this H here. Okay, once over, I think I got everything. Flip it over. There we go. Now you can see how that reads. I'm going to go ahead and throw away all of my scraps. And we're going to have my little leaf here. And my little pumpkin's going to go down here. And we're going to put that on the shirt. So we're going to go over to my heat press and I'll show you how I do it. I know you can use an iron, you can use the Cricut heat press, actually Easy Press I think it's called, I'm not sure what it is, but I happen to have an old heat press that my mother had given me from a t-shirt shop a long time ago, and I love it. It works great. It doesn't take up too much room in my craft room, and we'll go over to that in just a second. Okay, so here's my heat press. As you can see, it's a little old and dusty. Gosh, I guess I should clean it before I put it on camera, but in any event, it was sitting in a garage for quite some time. My mom gave it to me. I found this great little storage rack on Amazon. It's on wheels. It's awesome. It has tons of drawer space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drawers in the front of it, and the drawers hold all my vinyls, and it works perfectly. Plus I store some other stuff down at the bottom. So just pops up like this. It's preheating right now. There's a light on the front of it. When the light goes out, I know it's done heating. I keep the pressure setting the same all the time, and I set my temperature somewhere between 300 and 350, usually around 325. Seems to work for pretty much all of the stuff that I need to do. One thing I also use are these Teflon ironing mats, and I got them a 3-pack on Amazon. They'll last you forever. I would never even need 3. I've been using one for about, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years, and they stay like they're brand new. So I don't even know why you would need 3. So if you buy some, certainly give one to some of your friends. But these work really nicely for when you're ironing things on. So I'm just going to wait for this to heat up a little bit more. Getting my pieces over here and my shirt. So you usually want to, yeah, it's starting to get up nice and warm. You usually always want to take your shirts and preheat the fabric. Now, as far as lining it up and centering it, I really am an eyeballer. I kind of use, for me, I use the top of this little thing here as my center gauge to kind of determine where the center is. I like V-neck t-shirts because that's another point of reference. It kind of gives me my center line. So I'm just going to use all that. Take off any little bit of a fuzz. And just give it a 10-second press. If you were using an iron, just follow the instructions on inside the different types of iron-on materials that you're using as far as your temperature settings, and usually just a few seconds gives me a nice starts warm it up. So just going to give it a second longer to continue heating up, but I'm going to go ahead and lay this out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glitter on first, and then after I get my wording in the center done, then I'll put on my little leaf and my little pumpkin. So I'll just kind of lay it on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So probably my center line should be right down between the N and the A. I'm not, like, I just eyeball everything. I know I am pretty careful before I finally press it to make sure it's kind of where I want it. Kind of give it a little look on the side, but generally this kind of shirt, if I'm using the V as my center line, I'm pretty good. I think that looks pretty good right where we are there. So You always, again, want to make sure you put a press cloth or something over top of it. I highly recommend these Teflon sheets. They're awesome. And I'll put the link to them below where I got them on Amazon. And just go ahead and press. And I generally just count in my head to about 20 seconds or so, 25 seconds, something like that. I guess you could sit and count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, or you could use a stopwatch or whatever you want. Just hold it down for a few seconds longer. And then I just kind of, you definitely want to go shorter than longer because you don't want to burn anything, but I'll kind of like pick it up and then sort of kind of give myself a feel. Well, see, that one probably is not on there long enough yet, and I don't know that the heat press was completely heated up because I kind of was hurrying this along for the purposes of this video. So we're going to hit it again. Alright, let's see how that one goes. There we go. Oh, no, still not completely done. Yeah, I don't think my heat press was really fully hot enough, so I'm just going to leave this sit on here for a minute. If my light is even out on the bottom. Yeah, the light's still lit, so I don't even know that it was fully heated. Pretty good. There we go. And that one's on. So I then always take this and put this down without the liner and just give it another press, although because we're doing a couple other layers of this, we're going to have some other presses. So just to make sure it's on there securely, I wash my glitter all the time inside out. I never have problems with it coming off. The standard iron-on material, I have had some issues with t-shirts I've given to a few other folks where on a few occasions it has started to come up. So you do want to make sure that you follow the washing and recommendation instructions on the inside. So here's my little green leaf. Just going to place that as well. I think that probably looks good. We're going to do that layer first. And then the pumpkins. Let me see. Alright, put my Teflon over it again. Now this is a cool peel material, and I discovered that the hard way without reading the instructions and just assumed it worked the same as the glitter. And I assumed wrong. So you do want to let this cool for a second before you peel it up. So again, this is just how I do it. But if you're not using a heat press, obviously you want to make sure you follow the instructions on the materials that you're using. I feel like I should sing for you all while I'm waiting for this. Okay. I hope everyone has fun, exciting Thanksgiving plans. I'm cooking for about 12 people. Well, this one's actually starting to pull up, but yeah, we're going to let that cool for a second. Careful, don't want to, it gets pretty hot. I'm just going to give it a little bit, just one bit longer press on there. Should be good. And we'll just let that cool for a second. Kind of figure out our placement of the other one. Now my bottom pumpkin is regular standard iron-on, so that I don't believe is a cool peel, but we'll find out together. I don't remember, I haven't used it on. And I know I burned this one time on a onesie I was making for somebody. I think that placement was pretty good right there. So yeah, so I'm cooking for 12 people. And luckily I have off for the most part for the next week, work from home for a couple days, so I'll have plenty of time to do what I need to do. All right, there we go. See, now that's pulling off perfectly. So you do definitely want to let that cool a little bit. Throw that out. Now we're going to do this one. Okay, do it again. Every time I hit this, it's going to also help with the other ones. You can flip it over and iron from the other side as well, which I'll probably do at the very end. Okay, let's take a look. See how this one's doing. This is generally a pretty quick and easy one. There we go. That one came off nicely. That's, again, that was the standard. And then we have the last layer. So this you can just kind of eyeball it and place it where you want it. Still a little warm, which will probably adhere it. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. I probably should have cut some cute little lines in that, which would have made it look more like a pumpkin. I know there's some images out there that will do that for you, but for this one it's fine. It's just with me and my family. And we'll do that last one. Alright, let's see. We're going to let that one cool for a second before we pull it off, because again, it is the iron-on foil. There we go. Peeled off pretty nicely. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'm just going to give it one more once over for that final layer there. Just make sure you get some direct heat without the liner. These things, these pressing mats really protect it. I know when I just use cloth, I would burn things a little more easily, but I think that's probably pretty good. I don't even think I need to do the other side of it. So there we have it. Just want to make sure you don't burn yourself. I'm going to turn my heat press off. How cute is that? Adorable. I just whipped that together probably in about 20-25 minutes, and now I have a nice fun shirt to wear on Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please like it and subscribe to my page, and now you can finally give it a shot. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye now.